Hi everyone, welcome to the Friday music time again. So today our episode is about back to Bach's house. Why is that so interesting? Because last week I saw that Miss Joey was introducing J.S. Bach, the great composer of the Baroque period, to all of us, and I was really interested about that. So I went to Bach's house to see what happened there. What is so interesting in Bach's house? So let's go and have a look now. Please watch to the end. We've got the most interesting part at the end. You must love it. Okay, I received some comments from some of you asking me, "Oh, Miss Yami, why you are introducing Baroque music to us? It is like 300 years ago stuff. It's so old, so long ago." Yes, it is so old. It's long ago. That's why it is so different from the music that we listen to nowadays, okay? And it is all about the history of music. It's where the music roots and develops from. And the function is quite different from Baroque period when compared to now because it is mainly writing for myth. Myth is like the ancient story or ancient tale. And the second function is like mainly it is used for worshiping God, okay? Like the sacred music. We used to worship God in the churches, okay? So J.S. Bach, who is one of the most famous composers of that time. Okay, one more question before we proceed to the Bach house. Okay, I received from some of you saying about why J.S. Bach is so famous. It's just basically because he is really talented. Not only because he's so talented. Yes, he's so lucky that he was born in a musician family where his father and brothers are good musicians. He received good training. But most importantly is because Bach is a very disciplined and very hardworking person. He didn't stop working, like every day he would go practice and write music. He produced over 1,000 music works. For example, if it convert to nowadays an album is about 40 minutes, then he is basically produced around 30 albums now. Why he could be so successful is because he is very hardworking. So nowadays we have got photocopier for photocopying exercise, right? But in Bach's time, he doesn't have any photocopier. He need to handwritten all the music manuscripts and copied all the music score by himself when he was studying. So from a musicologist, Stouffer, he said Bach was a very disciplined, well-trained teenager, deeply committed to learning his craft. That's why he is so successful. Okay, after talking for too long, let's go back to Bach's house now.
This is the house in which Johann Sebastian Bach was born. This house stands in the town of Eisenach in Germany. It looks very much the same today as it did when Sebastian was a little boy. Many people go there to visit this house.
Yes, so I went there too. It is fascinating.
In Eisenach, there is a statue of Bach near the palace.
It is amazing.
In the same town in which Sebastian was born,
I was very lucky that I could have a site visit to Bach's house. And here you go, this is the Bach's office where Bach wrote his music work or studied there. And it is so special. Inside his office there was a clavichord. Which instrument do you think it looked like? I thought it looked like an electronic piano. Yes, it's basically one of the type of the piano at that time. Wait, but how does it sound like? Let's have a look. Oh, it sounds like this. I think it sounds similar to the instrument that Miss Joey introduced to us last week. The harpsichord. Yes, I remember its name. If you ask me which part of the house is the most interesting part, I would recommend the instrumental hall. So you see there are some strange instruments put in there. Do you normally see this kind of instrument nowadays? I don't think so. Oh, but let's look closer. The one which is closer to us, it looks like a grand piano now. Oh, I recognize this. This is the one that Miss Joey introduced us last week. Okay, before getting back to the harpsichord, which is the left-hand side instrument, I would really want to introduce you guys the organ, the positive organ at the right-hand side, like a small cupboard, but it's not a cupboard, it is an instrument. At least how many people do you think we need to play that positive organ, the right-hand side instrument, like a cupboard thing? 1 people or 2 people? Let's have a look. So it is not a cupboard. We call it an organ, but this is a positive organ that it is quite easy to move. We can put it inside a house, a little place, because usually an organ should be built inside a church or a town hall, a really massive place, okay? So this organ is really tiny, and usually an organ is made by some little pipes. Can you see there are so tiny little pipes there? Okay, after a closer look, do you think at least how many people can we play this instrument? Oh, I see. It means at least 2 people together in order that we can play that instrument. What is that lady doing at the back? Who was stepping on the pedal? Is that the same function as the piano pedal today? No. Actually, the pedal that she was stepping on is for blowing in the air inside, so that this positive organ could have sound. Do you like the sound of this positive organ? I like that very much. It sounds so round and so fluffy. I think it is so cute. As I said, this is just a tiny organ. Let's have a glance at the massive one. Which organ do you like more? The tiny one inside the Bach house, or this massive one inside a church? So last week, Miss Joey asked us some question. She asked, can you think of any differences between a piano and a harpsichord? I think actually they didn't sound like the same. They're different. The harpsichord are more sharp because it is a plucked instrument, just like plucking the strings in a guitar. We can't play really a long note there because it is like a plucking instrument. It plucks the string every time we play it, so it can't stay long. The harpsichord didn't have the sustainable pedal just like the pianos. That's why it can't sustain. But the outer part, the body of the piano and harpsichord, they look really similar. They are friends. But just the tone color and the sound, they sound really different. Could you spot the difference of them? Could you guess the common instrument is piano or harpsichord? This is a piano. After the discussion about the organ, the harpsichord, and the piano, let's have a look at some Baroque instrument. The strange instrument. Let's see how many of them could you recognize. Do they look similar to the nowadays instrument? So how many could you recognize from the picture? Yeah, they didn't change much. These are the woodwinds instrument, the bassoon, and you also play it too. These are the recorders. What is this? Not a piano, but a harpsichord. How about this beautiful cupboard? Is that a cupboard? Yeah, it is an organ. A tiny organ. Wow, this looks really beautiful. Look like an art piece. What is this? A clavichord. You're right. How about this? Yes, of course it's clavichord again. Ooh, I know some of you play this instrument too. It is a violin. You're right. Wow, these violins look like the electronic violin nowadays. How about these? Yes, it is still a violin. To conclude, we learn about different Baroque instruments today, like the clavichord and the harpsichord. They sound so similar, and I think the similarity is just like the upright piano and the grand piano of today. They sound so similar too, but between piano and harpsichord, they sound so different. And we also learned about this tiny organ, the positive organ that could put in a small area. So do you think which Baroque instruments do you like most? The harpsichord or the organ? And second question, do you think a Baroque instrument could suit a modern piece? Let me give you some ideas. So here we come, the last part, the most exciting part. We're going to play a video game piece, my favorite piece, on a harpsichord. Let's guess, what is that? Can you guess what is that? Let's get started.